Right, we're at Raglan Castle, and as far as I know, built by a guy who fought at Agincourt, so, you know, pretty old. And it was built more for comfort than for militaristic reasons, and was given a fairy tale look, apparently. And it's it's one of the ruins that Cromwell knocked about a bit. So it was when the Roundheads took over, they said, right, we can't have any of these royalists with castles and so on, so they smashed up a bit. And this is what we got. So there you go, see the French influence. You know, back to Agincourt, go over there, Welsh archers, smash up the French, come back with a bit of French loot and a few French stonemasons, and you build yourself a castle. Yes, it's often forgotten that the Tudors and the Welsh go together. It was the Welsh archers that stuck an arrow into Henry V's face and completely smashed up one side. And then naturally he had to think they were pretty good. So I want some of those, and so he took them off to Agincourt. So the Welsh longbowmen were the super weapon of the period. Must have looked pretty fancy in its day, and it had its day for quite a long time, right up into the 17th century, when you got the parliamentarians coming and kicking it about a bit. Don't know much about this. That's exciting, isn't it? This is probably one of those party castles where, in the Tudor period, they would have been having raves here. Ah, there you go. So there's things to see here. Tudor catering, the kitchens, feast-rise and magnificent boreal windows, drinks in the atmosphere of William Herbert's wine cellar. See wine cellar food. Let's say it's a party town.
Gardens and lakes and orchards and everything. 5 years later, it was a ruin. So who came to destroy it?
Parliamentarians, because it was a loyalist stronghold. They supported the king here. But yeah, I mean, you know, when the Tudors were in power, this would have been a party town. It was a bit like that other castle. They would. It wasn't for military purposes. It was more for show and
thickness of the walls everywhere.
Yeah.
That's defensive.
Yeah.
But you're just telling me it wasn't really.
No, there was no real
The walls are
military.
so thick to hold it up.
Well, you know, because that's a castle and it keeps it warm. It's full of, stops it burning down. So you made it up here.
Sorry. No problem.
Right, the kitchen. That's where we're in. There you are. It says, Raglan became famous for its hospitality under Sir William Herbert, and the bard Daffy Druid praised the castle for having 100 rooms filled with festive fare. The kitchen was built by Sir William Herbert and extended his father's castle. When important guests arrived with large retinues, Sir William's servants had to cook for hundreds of people. Fortunately, Raglan's kitchen complex was well designed, and a wet larder net below the tower kept perishable items such as meat, cheese, cool. There you go. Oh, spices were imported for flavouring food, making hippocras, a sweet spiced wine. Exotic items such as cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves had to come from the other side of the world. So there you go. It was the first Indian restaurant in Wales. They cook Malaysian food here. Says so there, that they imported spices And where do you think they got the spices from? They all came from the Spice Islands. So it was a spa resort.
Okay.
You came here, you had your exotic foods and your exotic wines.
So you had your beef rendang. And,
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Of course, all these places, they start off with a vague idea to be a castle and to fend off your enemies. I mean, if you got a lot of rich stuff, you wanted to keep it safe. But a lot of these things in these areas, they ended up being for show more than anything else, for display. And as this one developed, as I say, it became like a resort town. And your rich and famous of the land would be invited to come and have a party here, or they would request and send a retinue ahead and take over the place, do a lot of cooking and partying, and they'd dress up as, well, knights in shining armour and people from Arthurian legends, so as Guinevere and what have you, all try and look as glamorous and romantic as possible. And they'd have music and food from exotic places. And, by the 17th century, Britain had got colonies out in Sumatra and Indonesia, and they were sending back all sorts of really nice and wonderful flavourings, and they were sticking it into their wine, and they were sticking it into anything, really. So, like I said, world's first Indian restaurant. And, of course, as a place of frivolity and fun, rather than, strictly speaking, of militaristic requirements, the parliamentary forces thought, stuff it to these rich bastards, let's screw them over, and they just robbed the place right. Blind, I should say, and pulled it apart, because it was on the wrong side. Can't have these royalist strongholds here. The moats and all that were put in the 17th century, or to make it look even more picturesque, rather than anything else. Though, the Jacobean times were beginning to get a little bit hairy, and Britain fell apart and became a failed state for the bulk of the 17th century. Though it was also during the 17th century that Britain expanded. People left in droves, went off to America and formed colonies there, and they went off to the East Indies and battled the Dutch for power in the Indonesian islands and in India and so on. It was all during that period. Life here was a bit precarious, so people thought, we'll go off and make money. So by the 18th century, all this had been destroyed, but then it was rediscovered again by the poets of various kinds. I don't know any particular poet that rediscovered this, but anyway, people started going on tourist trips, looking at picturesque ruins, and ruins became the thing. So you actually built a ruin in your gardens. So at that time, you'd have your garden. Your formal Elizabethan gardens torn up and replaced by grand open vistas, which was supposed to be very English, and you built a few ruins in there, brand new ruins, so you could promenade and walk around looking nice and rich and powerful and elegant and romantic and all that sort of stuff. See, that's what England's really about, showing off.